So what does it mean to be a raging Cajun? Southwest Louisiana, wreck your face, man. Still don't get it in, I'ma let you know. All you gotta do is come and join the show.
Hello again, everybody. We are the highest tier pod of your weekly unfiltered wrestling and entertainment. Welcome to the Worldly Podcast, where we're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and we're on YouTube as well. Of course, we're the hostly trio. I'm Marcus, he's Dylan, he's Jordan. Before we move on to talk about our main topic, where we're going to do our prediction show for All In, that happens tomorrow night, or should I say tomorrow early in the day for us, tomorrow evening in the UK, because they will be in London. I figured we take this time to kind of address the listeners and all our love and support that we tune in and watch us every week. Just kind of give you an update on our behalf and the situations we've been in throughout the week. As you know, of course, it's been a rough couple of days for the IWC ever since the passing. We'll get to more in a bit. But I wanted to take this time to kind of not just speak on my behalf, but maybe a little bit on Dylan and Jordan's with everything that's been going on this week, especially in our state. First off, as you all know, I don't think it has ever been this hot like it's been in the last 10 years, because possibly, I think Wednesday, I think was the hottest day I worked possibly in the last 9 or 10 years. It was like 104 was the highest, and the heat index was like at 113 or something like that. Hot enough that I never witnessed it. I've just seen it on the news, and it was devastating for me. What's up, Justin, tuning in from the End Time Wrestling Podcast. I think never in my life I've ever witnessed or even heard of a forest fire happening in our state, and our state's been through enough lately in these last couple of weeks. So we've had 2 forest fires in the last week due to the severe heat. And I will say the closest one happened not far, probably about an hour and a half from my side of the state. I don't think anything in y'all's area. It was more like it's Central Louisiana, more up in the Northwest Territory. Hot enough, bad enough that I think you guys also caught it too. We got the smoke in the air the following day from all the forest fires they had in those last couple of days. I'm telling you, when I walked outside, it looked like a dead zone. Like, I felt like I was in the scene of a movie, like it was the end of the world. Like, it was just so gray and musty. I was like, that's definitely not fog. So it's been a crazy week. You know, I'm frustrated. I'm exhausted. I'm trying to stay hydrated all week, and not to mention I'm shattered and emotional from these last couple of days. So that's how I'm feeling right now. I usually every week, I always look forward to coming on this show and live stream with Dylan and Jordan every week to kind of get away from the real world, get away from work or any type of bullshit that we have going on. But personally, yes, I'm a happy camper. Like, I'm loving life right now. I'm happy. I'm a father now. I have everything I could ask for, but just it feels like 2005 again all over for me right now when we get more into that. But I want to send my thoughts and prayers to all those in our state that has been through this dreadful disaster these last couple of days with the forest fires. I hope, God puts his hands over y'all, those who's been affected. If any, luckily no lives were lost, but there was a lot of damage, especially in a couple little towns about an hour and a half away from me. But my side of the state didn't catch anything. We just caught a lot of the smoke that just blew right into our area. But for all those, if there's any listeners out there that tune in and listen to us and y'all been affected by this, from all of us here at the Worldly Podcast, we send our thoughts and prayers to you guys, and hopefully things get better and we can get through all this together. But then on top of that, it's been a dreadful last couple of days in the wrestling world. We had 2 passings 2 days apart. On Wednesday, we had the passing of WWE Hall of Famer Terry Funk. He passed away at 79. I don't remember. Was it cancer, or was he sick? I didn't read what was the passing. I just remember a while back he was very ill at one point. unless he did recover that. And then now we didn't do a stream Thursday because we on my side we had a jamboree, so we had this scheduled and planned for today. We're on schedule, but it wasn't until I was in a meeting with the refs because we were in a 2-hour delay from Lightning. While I was listening to the refs, I'm just playing with my phone, and next thing you know, I get a message from Eli. And when I saw that, I said, no, it's got to be a hoax. And sure enough, you called me. When Dylan called me, I said, I had to walk away because I was about to tear up. And you called and told me everything. And then next thing you know, while we were under rain delay, I was just reading tweets on my phone and just can't believe it really happened. The passing of Wyndham Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt, who was very beloved by all of us, including us three. I know Dylan probably had it the hardest. He was one of your all-time favorites. This one hit just as hard as Eddie's death in 2005 because there's not a lot of wrestlers. I have a lot more to say on Bray when we get to next week. The only thing I'm going to say about him is he's on a very short list of mine who, no matter if he was playing a babyface, which majority of his career he was playing a heel, I never once said nothing bad about what they had planned for him, a gimmick, nothing. I've always loved every single thing he did, and he was on that short list with like Eddie Guerrero or guys like MJF right now or Adam Cole, Chris Jericho, and The Rock and The Undertaker, just to name a few. Like, I have a very short list of guys that no matter what they're playing, I will never get pissed or never talk shit if they won or lost the match, like I've had with a few other guys. Like, I've had love-hate relationships with guys like Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Randy Orton and even John Cena. They're not on that list like Bray Wyatt was. But it's still, to this day, it's been 2 days now, and it's still hard to believe, especially after watching the tribute show last night. And I got very emotional at the beginning, and then the way they closed out and the video package had me down, and that was real feelings for me. Like, God damn. It's always sucks when someone you love that much is gone. And I do want to apologize. Like, when I seen all the tweets and people were asking questions, I knew over the fact he was having some mental issues, and he was still hurt and sobbing from the passing of Brody Lee from 3 years prior. I apologize in advance because I thought it was possible. I thought it was suicide. But turns out 2 hours later, Sean Ross Sapp did reveal that it was a heart attack that had something to do when he had COVID a few years ago, and it went to whatever accelerated into his heart. But it's still tragic, but I'm just glad it wasn't what I thought it was. And if that did upset people, I apologize. That's just the first thing that came on my mind was I knew he'd been depressed for 3 years and he was having mental issues. That's the first thing that came on my mind. And I was hoping it wasn't that, and it wasn't that. It was just a heart attack, but it's still a sad way to go. But I'm gonna save the rest of my thoughts on Bray. So Dylan and I did a lot of talking, and we decided that next week we decided to pull the plug on a double prediction show we had planned. We were gonna do our predictions for Payback and All Out. We canceled that, and instead, next Thursday, August 31st, we'll go back to our regular weekly schedule. We're going to do a full tribute show for Bray Wyatt. We're going to share some of our favorite rivals, matches, moments, witness some moments of his that we saw in person, favorite gimmick of him, all different. The whole episode will be for him. And it's going to be hard to do, but I'm also looking forward to sharing my love about him and what I really enjoyed about him. And I can't wait to hear from you guys, and especially in the comments. But that's all I have to say on my address before we get to more talk. Before I say a little bit about Terry Funk, I'm going to hand it off to Dylan to give his thoughts with everything that we've been going through with the forest fires and then the passings of Terry and Wyndham.
Yeah, for the fire part of things, I'll keep that one short. It hasn't necessarily affected my area. anything like that. But to everyone that it is, I'm hoping that everyone's staying safe, and soon enough we'll get some rain over here, because that's something that we've been lacking in this heat. This is one of the hottest weeks that we just witnessed, and it's just crazy. I mean, this is something you see on TV. Like, you don't necessarily see this in person, like in real life over here. So just hoping that everything goes back to normal at some point. And like I mentioned, that we get some rain at some point, and all of it just goes away. Now, when it gets to these two passings that we just witnessed this past week, one day apart from each other, as a matter of fact, Terry Funk is not someone I grew up on. I did see him wrestle before, him and Mick Foley, two hardcore legends, guys just absolutely beating the shit out of each other. Something that, you just love about hardcore wrestling. I never saw really his earlier days in wrestling. I see a bunch of pictures and doesn't even look like him in those earlier days. But then the Terry Funk you see right here on the screen is a Terry Funk that I was used to watching, the older hardcore legend. That's one I really enjoyed. And when it comes to Bray Wyatt, I was actually cooking whenever I received the news about it, and I thought it was fake. Just like you, I thought it was fake. I said, there's no way. And then I went look, and I saw the Triple H tweet. Sean Ross Sapp, a bunch of other dirt sheet writers were reporting it, and it felt like a gut punch. Like, it felt like it just numbed your whole body. And I was telling like multiple friends, family members, that I haven't been this numb over a celebrity death since I think Kobe Bryant died, because it just hit you so quickly. And I was in line at the Royal Rumble back in 2020 when I heard the news about Kobe Bryant. And it's like you have to enjoy like a whole event now with these news that just came at you, which is why I was so happy we didn't do a stream on Thursday. I was luckily, like, the Jamboree was going on Thursday to where we didn't have to do a stream, because I don't think I'd be able to do it. And this was originally planned for the next day, Friday, 7:30, but luckily we didn't do it for that either, because I just couldn't do it. But also seeing what happened to Bray, Terry Funk, and also another celebrity death happened today as well. I didn't want to pop the comment up because I didn't want it to be breaking news to you right as you were talking heartfelt about somebody else. Be it Bob Barker also passed away.
I knew about that. I saw your brother's post, and I thought it was fake too. And the only thing I have to say about that was definitely a legend. Of course, when I first watched The Price is Right as a kid, he was the host. The only thing that just disappoints me was, just like Betty White, you couldn't let him live to be 100. In 4 months he would have turned 100, and he died just short of his triple-digit birthday. And sadly, we will not get to see him on the 2000th episode of Raw like he promised us back in 2009 when they used to do the celebrity guest hosts. He hosted a episode of Raw in Chicago, and because the first thing that came to my mind was either the skit with Chavo or the skit with Jericho, and the one with Jericho popped up first on Twitter
right
when I got the news. That plus his iconic fight scene with Adam Sandler and Happy Gilmore.
But getting back to Bray Wyatt, for one, like you mentioned, we have a full tribute show planned, so I'll share more thoughts and everything when we get to that date. But this also makes me see how short life is, and you have to appreciate what you have right in front of you and all the people who support you along the way doing it. So, real quick, I want to say I appreciate both of you for doing the show with me. Every week we come on here, we do our best to entertain others, and so far I feel like we're succeeding at that, because I feel like we're growing every day as people, as content creators and entertainers. And I want to appreciate everyone who supports us, supports our YouTube channel, our Twitter page, Facebook, everything. Without any of them, the show wouldn't be necessary, because we wouldn't have anyone to entertain if these people wouldn't support us every week. We just hit a big milestone of our most viewed live stream for a smaller YouTube channel that we are. We just nearly hit the 500 view mark on last week's stream. So that right there makes me super appreciative.
And that was only in 24 hours.
Right. Yeah. So that makes me super appreciative right there of everyone that supports us. Like I said, I appreciate the both of you and everyone who we do shows with, whether they come on as a guest, whether we join their show as a guest, you know, everyone in the podcast world, the wrestling world, and just in world in general, you know, like I said, life's short and you have to appreciate what you have. So just wanted to get that out the way and say how much I appreciate everyone and y'all and just everyone in general that supports the show. So I'll give more thoughts on Bray Thursday. Like I said, I'll have more to say. I don't want to spill everything out right now and have nothing to say on Thursday. But yeah, it was a gut punch. It makes your body feel numb. We're 2 days later and it still doesn't feel like it's real. I remember the last time we streamed about Bray Wyatt was just when he got released after WrestleMania, after his loss to Randy Orton. And I didn't think that now we'd be streaming talking about his passing. So life comes at you very quickly and you have to live life to the fullest, live like it's your last. So I'll have more to offer Thursday, but I'll just send all my condolences to obviously Terry Funk's family and the Rotunda family, to JoJo, to Bray's children, and just everyone else.
Jordan.
Yeah, it like came out of nowhere. I was like watching TV and my phone rang. That was Dylan, and he said Bray Wyatt passed away. I was like, what? And then I went in the living room and told my mom, and she was like, what? So she got on her phone, and yeah, we was looking, and yeah, it just came out of nowhere. And yeah, I want to thank y'all for bringing me on the show and doing this every Thursday or whatever days we do it. And
Yeah, I appreciate you guys as well. You know, it's been fun so far, and we still got a long way to go. You know, we're almost at the 3-year mark coming November. And then outside of the wrestling podcast world, you know, Dylan's still doing his thing with this show, Domefield Advantage, on the Bloodline Entertainment Network. I got my YouTube show, SHE Sports, that I've been doing every so often. You know, I'm actually going to do a first time ever next week. I plan on doing 2 shows because preseason will be over with and week 1 of college football will be starting. So I'm working on getting 2 shows done there. But yeah, I still was unbelievable to hit about 500 views in 24 hours. Like that was an unbelievable. I feel like it's the luck of having a member of the bloodline as a thumbnail. It's like every time we have Roman or the Usos on the thumbnail, we're guaranteed viewers. So I call it luck. The only thing I could say about last night's show, which was, I mean, it was a very good tribute show. It was emotional watching it, but it wasn't as emotional as Eddie's. I'll still say to this day, this one hit me hard. This was probably the second hardest to hit me, but that Eddie one, that one was probably the most tragic one for me. With everything, his passing and the tribute show, both tribute shows for Raw and SmackDown. Back in the day, they actually did the interviews where they let them speak to the camera. They don't do that no more. They just show like a collab of tweets instead. You know, we're in a different society these days. But now they didn't show much, but I wish what they would have shown, but I get why they did it. They kept it a private matter. But Roman Reigns did retire the blue. I mean, he wasn't really using it to begin with. Every so often, Paul Heyman would come out with the original 2 belts he carry around, but Roman retired the blue Universal Championship in memory of Bray Wyatt because Bray was the one that brought the blue belt to SmackDown when he jumped shift as the Universal Champion and switched to SmackDown from Raw. Instead of the red belt, he brought in the blue title. And there was only 4 guys that held the blue belt: Bray, Goldberg, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns. So, but like Michael Cole says, anytime something severely tragic happens, the show will go on, and we will continue to go on as well. Again, next Thursday, we will do a full tribute show for him. I'm going to post the announcement on Instagram tomorrow, and Dylan's going to announce it on Twitter tomorrow. So around the same time, we're going to announce it just as a reminder.
Mhm.
But the only thing I got to say about Terry Funk, which I mean, I've grown up watching him. I've seen him wrestle in an indie show once. He you want to talk about hardcore. I mean, you think of guys like Mick Foley or Abdullah the Butcher, but if you had to put a Mount Rushmore of the most hardcore guys, you have to put Terry Funk on that. He's a legend from Amarillo, Texas, come from a legendary wrestling family. And I know people these days, when you think of legendary wrestling families from the Lone Star State, you're going to think of either the Guerreros or the Von Erichs. But up in Northwest, in a city known as Amarillo, there's a ranch called Double Cross Ranch. That's where Terry Funk came from. His father was a wrestling promoter at one point. Dory Funk had his own promotion. And he had two sons that joined the business. They were a tag team together, Terry and Dory Funk Jr. Even had very successful careers as singles competitors. Terry Funk was once an NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, just like his brother. He did some wrestling in WCW. I've seen him wrestle in WCW back in the day. But in ECW, he got well known there. He was a two-time ECW champion. Plus, he was the first guy to win the ECW title when they on a pay-per-view. The first ECW pay-per-view, he won the title. And he took his talent to WWE, where he had some amazing matches with Mick Foley, just like he did in ECW. He once had another gimmick known as Chainsaw Charlie, and he won the tag team titles with Mick Foley at one time. They won the titles at WrestleMania. They beat the New Age Outlaws. But if I have to say one match I'll always remember Terry Funk, that hardcore tag match he had at ECW One Night Stand where he teamed up with Tommy Dreamer against Edge and Mick Foley. Still that image of him laying on that board wrapped in barbed wire with Mick Foley while he had a big old gash on his eyebrow. And he kept complaining about his eye. We thought his eyeball was completely split, but no, he had like a little gash like right on the eyelid. That was one of those Terry Funk matches I always remember.
Yeah.
So we will continue to go on. So we're going to use the rest of our time to talk All In. That happens tomorrow. I think, what is it? 1 p.m. Eastern or noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. So I think around 11 o'clock for us, that's either when the 0 hour is going to start or the actual pay-per-view. I'm not 100% sure. I just hope it's not no 7 hour pay-per-view. I'm hoping it goes no more than 4 hours. But you never know these days.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to have the roof open because I saw an image. They had a scaffold, like a tarpaulin set up. Like anytime WrestleMania would be outdoors, they'd have the little tarpaulin scaffold set where they could cover it in case it rains. And they had that up. And I'm like, well, I guess they're going to have the roof open for Wembley. And I just want to see the atmosphere if they do get 80,000 or even more. Like, they're already trying to claim it's the biggest wrestling event of the year, and you hadn't even had your show yet. So I hope they deliver.
Same here.
So, and I didn't watch Rampage, and I don't plan on watching Collision because I've seen some spoilers on Twitter. But there's now 11 matches on the card, and there's only 2 matches on the 0 hour. So we'll go ahead and start with the 0 hour. We're going to start with the first match that they just added. It must have been yesterday. So Jordan and I were talking one day, and when we were recording SAT Sports, by the way, it was the night Dynamite happened, or Firefest. I looked at Jordan, I said, wasn't Jack Perry supposed to retire the FTW championship? And he was like, that's what I saw on the graphic, but it never happened. Now he's going to defend the title on the 0 hour against Hook. Now, I know you might not have an overlay for it, but it's probably a quick prediction. We'll start with that. So FTW championship, Jack Perry versus Hook. Hopefully they retire the belt after this, but we'll start with Jordan, then we'll go Dylan, and then I. Who's walking out of Wembley as the FTW champion, hopefully for the last time?
I'm going to go Jack Perry.
This is tough because he was supposed to retire the championship, but now he's He's defending it. But I feel like the only one who made the title relevant kind of was Hook. So I think so. So if it's for the title, I think Hook wins it back. And this is not to kill Jack Perry's momentum to what he's doing right now, because I love the character. I love he comes out to Beethoven's symphony now, which is awesome compared to Tarzan Boy. But I think Hook wins it back. So I think so I think Hook wins the FTW championship and he carries it and doesn't let Jack Perry retire it. So I'm going with Hook.
See, that's another guy that's on my short list, like Bray Wyatt and Eddie Guerrero. I've loved Jack Perry since I first saw him. Even though he changed that character, I still love him. I love him more as a heel. Like, just he dropped the Jungle Boy name, which I do miss. That Tarzan Boy thing. Could you imagine Wembley singing Tarzan Boy? Or even if we'd have had one chance, they could have sung Carry On My Wayward Son, but they split the Elite into different matches, so we kind of got robbed on that one. But I mean, you might as well keep your word that you didn't get to do last week. He was supposed to retire the belt at Fyter Fest and it never happened. So I'm gonna go with Jack Perry retaining, and then the following Dynamite he's gonna retire the championship.
Okay.
All right, and then the only match on the 0 hour that they have been advertising that it was like it's on the main card. We get the two men that are going to main event All In, and they're going to have a chance to compete for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. MJF, the reigning world champion, teaming up with his opponent Adam Cole in the main event. They're taking on Aussie Open. And there's a lot of question marks on how this can go. Can the Dream Team actually win the titles together, or will Aussie Open retain?
I'm going to go Aussie Open.
So I seen a theory about this match, and that was from our friend Bakley from Cage My IQ, and he made such a fantastic point when it comes to this. Because I'm gonna give 1 point of it now, and I'll give the other point later when we get to the main event. But you're seeing a lot of involvement from Roderick Strong and the Kingdom getting involved with MJF and Adam Cole's friendship. I think Roderick Strong and the Kingdom cost MJF and Adam Cole this match, and Aussie Open retains. I'll get to my next point when we get to main event, but I think the Aussie Open retains, and they are growing on me, this team. Like, I love Aussie Open. Their theme song is so catchy, and just them in general are fantastic.
Yeah, I have Aussie Open retaining, but I could definitely see the Kingdom getting involved. But something tells me if they don't get involved, I think this is when MJF and Adam Cole's going to end their friendship to get them more fueled into that main event match later tonight. So I have Aussie Open retaining, and the friendship of Adam Cole and MJF is no more before the pay-per-view kicks off at the top of the hour. All right, so we'll start with a big one when we get to the main card. We'll start with one of the matches they've been advertising. They're the third encounter between FTR and the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. This could be a potential show stealer, could be a match of the year nominee. I see these two going all, like the name of the show, All In. So will the Young Bucks become 3-time champs, or will the top guys remain on top?
I'm going the Young Bucks to win it.
Same here. I'm going with the Young Bucks. I think FTR has done their time with the titles. I'm not sure how much they defended them. They weren't real big on defending, I guess. I know that Cash Wheeler just got arrested not long ago. Luckily, it didn't fuck with his transportation overseas. I'm not sure if he'll drop it because of this. I know some people are punished because of actions that they did. I'm hoping that's not the case, but I think the Young Bucks win it. They haven't held gold in a while. As far as tag team titles, I know they were the trios champions with Omega, but I think they win the tag gold back from FTR, and they proved that they're still one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling today.
Yeah, I got the Young Bucks winning as well. I feel like this is going to be another sort of punishment with what happened with Cash. So, and some people might not like it, saying, "Oh, the EVPs are getting the gold back." I mean,
who cares? Well. I mean, Jesus, they're still performers.
And And this the fact that they're like good friends with CM Punk is like a big thumbs down for me. So yeah, I'm usually picking the Young Bucks.
I mean, that's not it for me. I love FTR, but I hate CM Punk. But it doesn't matter if they're friends with him or not. I still think the Young Bucks win, and it doesn't even matter if they're friends with Punk or not.
Then we got some sort of like, they call it an All Out tradition, but I wonder if they're going to do it for All Out next week also. But we're getting a 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Hikaru Shida, Toni Storm, Saraya, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Every woman for herself. Who's walking out as the women's champion?
I'm gonna go Saraya.
So picking the hometown or the homeland girl in her home country.
Yeah, this pains me to say it, but I think Saraya wins. I still think she's one of the worst signings that AEW has done recently. But she's at home. They do opposite of what WWE does, and they never let them win in their home country, state, town, whatever. But the AEW does the exact opposite. And I hate to say it, but I think Saraya wins. Shida hasn't had the title long after winning it from Toni Storm. But, I mean, they could have went with other people in this match. I'm tired of seeing Britt Baker fight for a championship. I'm tired of seeing Toni Storm fight for a championship. I honestly could have did somebody else. But I think Saraya wins her first AEW gold since being with the company.
When I was on the Kai Tai show earlier this week, I said anybody but Saraya. But I said I'm stuck between Britt Baker or Toni Storm, and I don't feel like getting up and going to get a quarter to do a flip a coin thing. So I'm going to say a new champion, but give me, I'm a Toni Storm. I'll say Toni Storm. What the hell? All right. This match got a change in here. It was supposed to be Swerve and AR Fox against Darby Allin and Sting in a coffin match, but on camera, AR Fox was kicked out of Mongo Embassy. But in reality, I find out that he suffered an injury, and I was getting confused. I'm like, okay, is Swerve partner going to be Brian Cage? Then you see Luchasaurus and Christian come out, and I'm thinking, okay, it's Luchasaurus. No, unfortunately, I just found out it's Christian Cage, of all people. I don't know why. I don't know what's his plan of dealing with Mongo Embassy, but tag team coffin match. You win by putting both your opponents in a coffin. I don't know if you put them in the same one or they're going to have two separate ones. So who's walking out as victories in this one?
Darby Allin and Sting.
Yeah, it's a coffin match. It makes no sense whatsoever for Darby to lose a match that he's known for in AEW. And really, I can't see Christian and Swerve putting Sting and Darby in a coffin and closing it. I just can't have the visual in my head unless the embassy comes out and helps them out. It's like a big gang that's attacking Darby and Sting. I just can't see it happening unless some interference happens. But if interference happens, then who do Darby and Sting have on their side if they want to even the odds? I don't think they have that backup. So I think that if there is interference, Christian and Swerve obviously win. But if there's no interference, I'm going to go Sting and Darby. And the TNT title is on the line at All Out, and I think that gives Darby more momentum, obviously. I got to agree with Justin on that, going into the title match at All Out. That is already advertised, I believe, against Luchasaurus, which at this point, you can't even tell Luchasaurus is the champion right now because Christian holds it all the time, and he say he's a champion, which I think is stupid.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, I think it's pretty stupid. Luchasaurus is the champion, and he beat Wardlow, who, honestly, where the fuck is Wardlow right now?
On Collision, he's supposed to have a match.
He's actually wrestling on Collision.
I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him because I haven't seen him in forever.
Well, the last time I saw him on Collision, I was on vacation. But I've only watched like 2 or 3 episodes of Collision since it aired because I just don't want to watch CM Punk on my TV, and I only watch the debut show to see the outcome. We had nothing else to watch when we were on vacation, and my dad put it on, so we watched it. And then I watched when Ricky Starks won the Owen Hart tournament against CM Punk, which that was the only time I smiled watching Collision. That's the only times I've ever watched it. I thought he was supposed to have a match at All Out.
Who?
I thought it was him. Who? Oh no, that's Miro. Miro's the one fighting Hobbs at All Out, not
Hobbs.
not Wardlow.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. Hobbs and Miro.
And some also tells me, like, after All In's over with, they're just gonna shove like 13 matches down our throat in 1 week to get a full card lineup for the following pay-per-view.
That's why I don't know if I'm a order it, but knowing me, the dumb, stupid fucking wrestling fan I am gonna order it because I'm just gonna shell out $50 just to watch a poor put together pay-per-view. And that's just who I am. Doesn't matter what type of wrestling matches or how rushed the card is, I'm still gonna order it.
If we order it, I'm not gonna watch it live because I'll be watching LSU and Florida State on one TV, and I'm gonna watch the Astros and the Yankees on the other. But I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna watch it on Labor Day because I'll be off Labor Day. I'll probably I'm gonna do like last year. I'm gonna watch All Out on Labor Day like I did last year.
Right.
Now Payback, I'm gonna probably watch that live. I'll just have it played on the PC while I got college football on the bigger screen.
Mm-hmm.
But so who you guys took?
We each took Darby and Sting.
I also am taking Darby and Sting, but the way Darby was playing like good guy, best friend to AR Fox, they mentioned on the Kai Tai show they think the heel turn was coming, that he was going to turn on Sting. I can't see Darby as a heel, especially the way he acted picking up AR Fox after a match they had and offering him a friendship after he was kicked out of Malgo Embassy. So I don't see the heel turn. I think they're just going to still align together, and maybe in 6 months to a year if they decide to go different. But I just can't see it right now. I can't even see that at all. Darby being that type of guy. But next up, we get a 6-man tag, but it's not the Elite like I wanted to hear, not 80,000 or 90,000 seeing Kansas, but we get the Golden Elite, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, and Hangman Adam Page taking on Konosuke Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold's Juice Robinson and Jay White. 6-man tag or trios, whatever you want to call it.
I'm going with Kenny Omega and Hangman and the other man.
The Golden Elite?
Yeah, Golden Elite. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean the names are just right above us. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Golden Elite as well. If someone's taking the pin on Bullet Club Gold, I think it's Juice Robinson. I don't think that Jay White can take it or Takeshita. So I think that Juice is the obvious one that will take it. I really can't see anyone on the Golden Elite taking a pin. So that's why I think they'll win, because Kota Ibushi is the second match in AEW. Hangman hasn't really wrestled in quite some time. Was it the last time he wrestled was in Blood and Guts?
Who?
Hangman.
I think that was the last time he wrestled.
Yeah, and then Kenny's a performer. This guy performs just about every week with the Young Bucks. So yeah, I think the Golden Elite win. And the only way I think Bullet Club Gold does take a loss is if Juice takes the pin. So that's the ratio I'm working on right now. No one can take a pin right now for the Golden Elite, and I think only Juice can take it for Bullet Club Gold. So that's why I'm working right there.
See, we were talking about this on the Kai Tai show the other day, and it makes sense why it's happening. This all has to do with the relationship with Kenny Omega and Don Callis, with how everything that was going on. But I think it'd have made a lot more sense if you had the actual Elite, Kenny and the Young Bucks, take on like Juice and the Guns or something. Like, this is just an odd pairing of a trios match, but it's because of the whole relationships feud with Kenny Omega and Don Callis. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go opposite. I'm gonna take Bullet Club Gold. I feel like Don Callis finds a way to get them a win. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Bullet Club Gold. As a matter of fact, I think that's who I picked. Like, I'm going with the same picks I had on the Kai Tai show. I may have picked the Elite, but I think I don't know. If I did, then I'm changing it. to Bullet Club Gold. Oh, and since we're not doing the predictions next week, I've also forgot to mention that Dylan, we're gonna do something old school. Dylan's gonna have a graphic made, and it'll have all our predictions for Payback and All Out. Since we're not gonna predict those next week.
Sounds good. Yep.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier. All right. So this next match, I hope it does not close out, but I know it won't. But if it don't, this will be the first time ever this one particular match does not close out a pay-per-view. But we get the return of Stadium Stampede. This time it's going to actually have fans in attendance, so you can call it like a super mega anarchy in the arena with these so-called 80,000. So you get Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, best friends is Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, and Penta El Cerro Miedo taking on the Blackpool Combat Club's John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and their mystery partners. They were supposed to have 3 mystery partners, but I get that Ray Phoenix had some visa issues. That's why you go MasterCard. That was a joke. But
I'm so
it was supposed to be 3 mystery partners, but they changed it to 5-on-5, so they get 2 mystery partners. It's now the return of Santana and Ortiz, who used to be Eddie Kingston's buddies. But I don't know if they're going to actually join. What's the matter?
The graphic designer like in me is fuming right now as to what I'm doing.
What happened?
I could look at Orange Cassidy's name. I'm a fucking idiot. I was typing too fast, and I was trying to get this done quickly. I started doing the overlays today, and I guess I was typing too fast. I am an idiot. God damn it!
I thought you may have missed somebody, like you did with Money in the Bank, or
son of a. Well, fuck it. If you don't know that's Orange Cassidy by now, then just stop watching because you don't know wrestling.
Well, again, yeah. So this is just an odd pairing of guys to like Eddie Kingston teaming up with best friends plus Orange Cassidy. It was supposed to be the Lucha Brothers together, but again, Ray Phoenix has visa issues, whatever the fuck that means. I made a credit card joke saying that's why you go MasterCard. But you got Blackpool Combat Club, and then you got the return of Santana and Ortiz, which the last time we saw them was Blood and Guts a year ago, 2022. That was the last time I remember seeing them two. I was hoping he grew his hair back, but he's still bald. But I don't know if they're actually members of Blackpool Combat. I think they just threw them in. But let's see how chaotic this is going to get with actual fans in attendance, because the first 2 times they did it in an empty stadium. Who wins?
I'm on the Blackpool Comeback Club and Santana and Ortiz.
All right.
Same here. Yeah, I got BCC and Santana and Ortiz. You know, I started thinking for a while the BCC was getting stale for me, but they're not, and they're looking good. And bringing on Santana and Ortiz to join their team to make it a 5-on-5 as opposed to what the 6-on-6 was. So me not knowing about the Ray Phoenix thing, I was wondering who the third member was it, but then I realized they were going back to 5-on-5, and suddenly I started feeling dumb for even thinking it. But yeah, BCC and Santana and Ortiz are a great pairing. I just think it's going to work out great for them. Not sure if Eddie Kingston's emotions are going to cost them a victory. He'll accidentally hit somebody on his team or something. This guy's a loose damn cannon. So I think BCC and Santana Ortiz are the ones that's going to work together better. And yeah, it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I'm also picking Blackpool Combat Club with Santana and Ortiz. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to attack Moxley and Eddie Kingston's like, no, you're my friend. I can't hurt you. We grew up together. The whole shenanigan bullshit that we've seen before. On Kai Tai, we got 2 out of 3. I don't think I included that, but they thought we were going to get the debut of Chris Hero in AEW to be like that extra member if they did 6-on-6, which that was a lot. That was a big rumor going around, which we did get Santana and Ortiz right. But 2 questions before we move on. How long until Moxley bleeds? That's the first question.
Man, probably upwards to I mean, it depends on how quickly the match just goes chaotic. I think it's upwards to maybe 7-8 minutes, and that's me being generous.
Okay.
5 minutes.
I'll go about the 5-10 minute mark. Depends where he's at and how many drunk Europeans make it happen. But the second question too was speaking of Stadium Stampede, it's now as a download. You can now play that match online if you have the AEW Fight Forever video game. And I saw images of it. It looks horrible. It looks like I'm playing backyard wrestling. Don't try this at home. The way they're moving, and like, I don't know. And I still never played the game. I heard it was just as bad as Madden 24. So I don't.
No, stop that. No, Madden 24 is a good game. I have it. I bought it early. It's good. I don't see no glitches. For one, it's the same game. If you're looking for newer features, yeah, if you look more of the in-depth detail of the game, yeah, there's new features. But as far as gameplay goes, it's a smoother gameplay. No glitches, no nothing on my end, for one. I've been playing since it dropped a couple Mondays ago, and I have no issues whatsoever with it. So to compare Fight Forever and Madden 24, no, don't do that, please, because I'll start fuming pretty bad.
I read a bad review on it, on everything,
Like
and
what?
I heard it was one of the worst of the worst, and even the graphics were not good.
No, the graphics are great on the game. I'm not sure who's writing these reviews, but it has to be someone who just doesn't like Madden, because
Well,
Madden is pretty good.
I was the one that made the comment about the graphics because our buddy Logan that I had on SAT Sports screen records some of his moments playing it with the Saints, and I'm watching his videos. I'm like, dude, if these are the graphics, but I think he has a PS5, they look like shit.
Well, I got a Series X. It's the same graphics as a PS5, and I have no complaints whatsoever with it. I guess for graphic wise, if you want it to look like actual television, probably, then yeah, you'll be disappointed. But I have no problem with it. Like, it's actually a really good game. I've been playing since it dropped on the early release, and like I said, no problem.
See, one problem I usually have with this game is, and it happens every fucking year. I hate as soon as the game comes out, people get traded to other teams, and if you want them to play with that other previous team, you gotta like buy the most expensive version and update the roster and download. Like the week the game comes out, of course, Dalvin Cook goes to the Jets, and then when I get the game, he's still a Viking. Now Trey Lance is going to the Cowboys. He's going to be in a 49er uniform when I'm playing it.
Same thing with roster updates. I know roster updates will happen on any edition that you have for Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. You can have the basic edition and still be allowed to update your rosters. And now Dalvin Cook was a free agent on thing because he already got released by the Vikings a few months ago prior to signing with the Jets. And then, yeah, Trey Lance's update will come out at some point. But at this rate, who's playing with Trey Lance? He was the third-string quarterback for San Francisco before they traded him to Dallas, and now he'll be the backup to Dak. Cooper Rush is the backup right now, so he's still technically listed as a third stringer, but he'll move up past Cooper Rush at some point. But, yeah, the roster updates will happen at some point. They've already had roster updates, so I'm pretty sure Dalvin Cook has to be a Jet by now on the game.
I'm not saying they would have played with Trey Lance as a starter, but like if you were playing with the 49ers and Brock Purdy got hurt or something, I would rather play with Sam Darnold before I'd play with freaking Trey Lance as a 49er. But
just update your depth chart. I mean, you can make those depth chart changes. You don't have to play with what they give you. I mean, you could have started Trey Lance in the game. I'm just gonna go update your depth chart.
I don't know. I will never forget. And it happened the day last year's Madden came out was the day CJ Gardner-Johnson went to the Eagles, and I was furious. Like, cause I'll never forget that day. The day Madden 23 dropped was the day CJ Gardner-Johnson went to the Eagles, and I was so fucking furious.
Yeah, I mean, but Madden does updates. I don't think they just do them as consistent as like Justin said. 2K does it. 2K does it like right on the money. they'll update their rosters. But Madden, they give it like a couple days after the roster move happens, and then they'll say, "Oh, like a roster update's available," and then you do it, and then that person will appear on that team they were either traded to or signed to it. So I'm sure in a couple of days, Trey Lance will appear on the Cowboys, and like I mentioned earlier, Dalvin Cook should be a Jet by now. I mean, I feel like Madden's been pretty on top of it this year as far as roster updates go.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm only waiting on like 4 new video games coming out. You know, I'm waiting on the new Mortal Kombat 1. I'm waiting on Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I'm waiting on the new FIFA game, and I'm waiting on that new Sonic the Hedgehog game that's coming out at the end of the year. Forgot what it was called. I think it's called Frontiers.
I have no idea.
No, Sonic Superstars. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right, we're gonna move on. One match I think could be a show stealer. It's like every time this guy already had 2 5-star matches this year, and I could see him going for a third. So we get Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. This is the one I'm ready to see. It's kind of a dream match, and though even in his promo, like talking about trying to get his boy and his stepson into school and everything, and he made a valid point saying he's gonna be a legend because he's gonna be the only man to say I've beaten Kenny Omega. God damn it, who else did he beat? In a 2
he beat Okada.
He beat Kenny Omega, Okada, and Chris Jericho within 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be a banger right here, and you got to watch out for United Empire to be in his corner, or even Don Callis, and Jericho's gonna have Sammy Guevara in his corner as well. But what's going on, Tim? Who you got, Jordan, in this hell of a banger?
I'm going Will Ospreay.
For one, this match doesn't scream like very appealing to me, and I said this last week. And, Freddie made good points as well when he was talking about this match. And it all goes to age. Will Ospreay can move. This guy is unbelievable when it comes to talent. And same thing for Chris Jericho, but they're unbelievable in their own way. And I feel like that Will Ospreay is going to have to slow himself down a lot because of Chris Jericho's age and his ability to not move as fast as Will Ospreay can. So I think that Will Ospreay is going to want to be able to do a certain move, but he can't do it as fast, and it's going to really mess up how this goes. So I think Will Ospreay wins, but it's not going to be as good a matchup as most people see it on paper. You see Will Ospreay, Chris Jericho, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, give me that match, without any hesitation. But I would say that for years back, and this is prior to when Jericho left WWE and started his little New Japan run, and then eventually got into AEW. Because I feel like even he moved faster then, but he was a younger Chris Jericho, and he's not getting any younger. So he's moving a lot slower, and I think that's going to affect Will Ospreay's ability so damn much during this match. But I think they work okay with what they're given, and they still put on a solid matchup, even though I'm not a huge fan of the matchup. I would have loved to see, and like I said last week, for one, I would have loved to see Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega have that rubber match that they're still due up for, because Kenny beat him at Wrestle Kingdom. Will Ospreay beat him at Forbidden Door. This was the venue to have that rubber match in front of 80,000 plus people, and they absolutely do not give us what we want. And I don't know, it's kind of frustrating, but I still think it'll be an okay match. I'm not really that excited for it, but honestly, I've been proven wrong when it comes to wrestling. So let's see if they actually exceed the expectations that they're given and actually put on a really good match, because I want it to be a good match. I don't pray for a downfall of any match whatsoever on this card or any wrestling in general, because I want to be blown away. So I guess we'll see. I think it'll be a good match, but Will Ospreay does take that victory, and he'll get the bragging rights of beating Kenny Omega, of beating Kazuchika Okada, and beating Chris Jericho all in a span of 2 months. So let's see if it's good.
They're like 22 years apart, I think. I know Ospreay's 30. Jericho's like 52. I think he's in his 50s. I know that. Something like that. Maybe not the worst pick, but it's not what we really wanted. But it was something we were supposed to get at Wrestle Kingdom a couple years back, but COVID happened and they like kind of put it on hold, and they're like, oh, why don't we do it in front of a bigger crowd in a bigger venue in a more bigger city like London, which, I mean, London is just about the same as Tokyo. They're big wrestling gods over there. They love their pro wrestling up in London. And, he's going to be the odds-on favorite because, he grew up outside of London. And, I think he said his stepson was going to be in attendance. His parents were in attendance. I think he's got a wife, maybe two, all going to be in attendance. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Jericho wins, but I'm giving him the hometown favorite. I'm going with Will Ospreay, plus I fucking love Will Ospreay. No offense to Jericho. I think it's a way to, you don't need to, what's the term I'm trying to say? Push him up. He's already over with the crowd. Everyone loves him. He's already a big star. I mean, it could make him a bigger star. And to have that term, I've beaten 3 of the greatest in a 2-month span. But, and hell, it could be so good. Maybe down the road we could get a Ospreay Jericho too. Maybe at a Wrestle Kingdom or somewhere else. But yeah, I'm going with Will Ospreay. Easily, hands down.
Yeah, Justin made a good point. I think that maybe New Japan holds that right to the rubber match at Wrestle Kingdom for Kenny and Will Ospreay. I'm hoping it's not at Wrestle Kingdom because I don't feel like waking up at 2 a.m. to watch it again. But probably I will, depending on the card, if it's as good as this year's was. But I would hope that a bigger the audience would have gotten the rubber match. And this is nothing to the Tokyo Dome. The Tokyo Dome always has just, I wouldn't say electric crowd, because this year they were held to that clap only rule.
Yeah.
And that
this
sucked.
crowd
This
crowd can actually chant.
Yeah.
And they're here 80,000 sing Judas, or here they're gonna probably sing some Premier League fight song or something, whatever football club Ospreay's a fan of, they're probably gonna sing that or whatever. They're gonna randomly sing probably one of Jericho's other songs from Fozzy. You never know.
Hey, but hopefully this match is good. I'm not holding a lot of expectation to it right now. I gave my points in general as far as age goes between the both of them, but maybe it'll be for one a lot better than what I'm expecting it. So we'll see. I mean, it's Will Ospreay is Will Ospreay. This guy can make something out of nothing. So let's see what he does with Jericho. Maybe he'll be able to transition himself, kind of a slower wrestler, something he's not used to. He's more of a fast-paced guy. So maybe Jericho will be able to go at the same speed he does. I mean, we'll see.
All right, this next match, I don't really understand everything about it because I fucking hate this guy so much right now. But we got CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the Real World Championship. But before I realized what it meant, I thought he X'd out the E because it stands for elite and he hates the elite right now. But no, it's like a straight edge thing. He spray painted the title to show that we already know he's straight edge. He bragged about it every week in ECW. He's got straight edge tattooed across his stomach. And he trying to pull a Hulk NWO and just vandalize Tony Khan's property, which, I mean, he got the cocaine money to go get another title. But I feel like this is a match that's pointless. They're fighting for a fake world championship, and I mentioned it on the Kai Tai show. How it's going to go down if he does win this match? I think it leads to a unification match at all out of who's going to be the real AEW world champion. That's my opinion. But who you got? Does Punk go to Chicago with that fake championship, or will Samoa Joe give us what we want and beat the living shit out of him, but just win a title that means nothing, like the FTW championship?
I'm going Samoa Joe.
I'm gonna go CM Punk, and I'm hoping he wins by anything but the GTS, because if he's seen that god awful GTS he gave Samoa Joe, then for one, Samoa Joe sold the hell out of it. So credit to Samoa Joe for selling such a poor GTS. I guess with Punk's age and Samoa Joe's build, that it was a little difficult. But I guess you can give credit to Punk for actually attempting it. But if you're gonna win a match that way, I think that's very poor. So if CM Punk's gonna win, it's gotta be by at least submission or something. But this match and this championship isn't even recognized by AEW. Like, you go on CM Punk's Wikipedia, it doesn't even say he's like the real world champion or something like that, like as it does for other superstars, saying that that they're a certain champion. So I think this match is all about rivalry, and that's it. I think the title's pointless, but yeah, if CM Punk wins, he's got to win by something else other than that GTS. That was an awful GTS he gave Samoa Joe already. But I wouldn't be surprised if Samoa Joe wins. I mean, it'd be a good match, but I'm not expecting it to be as good. But like I said, I don't pray for a downfall of any match. I want everything to be good, so I'm hoping it's good. But I think CM Punk wins. You know, I don't think that they'll start letting him lose like that. So I think he beats Joe.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to give this one to CM Punk because, like I said, I believe that at All Out, he's going to face the winner of the main event, and they'll have a unification match to crown the undisputed AEW World Champion. But if Samoa Joe wants to impress me, I would love if he would come out to the ring dressed like Sweet Tooth in the ice cream truck from Twisted Metal. By the way, that was I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes and the critics say, that was a fucking great show on Peacock. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I love Anthony Mackie, a New Orleans native. Freaking Stephanie Beatrice is hot as shit like always. And I forgot old Thomas Hayden Church was Agent Stone in that movie. So it was great seeing him. You know, he played in he was Sandman in Spider-Man 3. He was that douchebag Lyle from George of the Jungle. So, and Mackie was also what was that Avenger? Was it Super Falcon or Falco or something like that? He was him also.
Yeah.
But did you get to watch Twisted Metal? I know I'm getting off the subject here.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh man, you got to watch it. I might watch it all over again. It was awesome. And I can't wait for season 2. They're going to actually do the tournament like in the video game. If you've played Twisted Metal on PlayStation back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Joe did a great job playing the character, being the body figure for him, but Will Arnett doing the voice couldn't be nobody better. Will Arnett is a fucking great voice actor. I loved him as Batman in the Lego Batman movie, and he was also in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's great too. I love Will Arnett. All right, another match that just was recently added out of nowhere. We're getting another 6-man tag. Now it's going to be for the AEW World Trios Championships. The House of Black defend against the Acclaimed and the return of Billy Gunn, but he's not coming back as daddy ass. We're getting old school, badass Billy Gunn coming back. You want to make us happy? I know it won't happen unless he pays a lot of money for it. I would love if he come out to Ass Man. But he's going to come out with the Acclaim. You know that. If it's going to be a long walk to the ring, you might as well let Max Caster say a few more freestyles, since that's going to be a long walk to the ring, or however the setup is. But this feud has been building up for the last few weeks. If you watch Collision, which I didn't, I just seen highlights, which we've seen a bit on Dynamite too. But who's walking out of London with those trios titles?
I'm going House of Black.
Yeah, I think that's a gimme. You got to go House of Black on this one. I don't think the Acclaimed or Billy Gunn gain an absolute thing from this, because Billy Gunn is on the brink of being done for good. So what does taking the titles off of House of Black do for that? Absolutely nothing. So I think that this is a really good match, more on the House of Black's end, because I think all 3 performers right there are extremely talented. Same goes for Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. Same for Billy at his age. I mean, they're all talented, but I just don't think that they gain anything by taking the titles off of House of Black. So I think they retain in a and a better match than what people expect.
I mean, Billy Gunn looks fantastic for 59 years old, fixing to hit 60 in November. Holy shit. I don't know how. I can tell you it's not W Energy. I can tell you that. But no, I think this is just like, I don't know if they're trying to give him a farewell match or whatever, but I'm picking House of Black to retain. Like Freddie mentioned in one of the comments, he feels like a lot of this card will be rematched at All Out. I could see this adding another chapter at All Out if they let them actually win those titles, but no, don't take them off of them. They're just great as trios champions. There's not as many other trios teams that are trios champion material like House of Black is. Plus, Malachi is back in his home country, home continent. Actually, he's actually from Amsterdam, but they're in Europe in his home continent. Let them get a big win at Wembley, you know. Same with Buddy Matthews and Brody King. So I got House of Black retaining. All right, then we got the main event. One we're all excited to see if they actually just snap on each other. We get the two best friends, you can call it, MJF and Adam Cole for the AEW World Championship. I think another one that I think is going to slap. I see this one being a potential match of the night. Like, they're going to give it their all. I feel like it's going to be more 50-50. There's going to be a lot of people cheering for Adam Cole. There's going to be a lot of people cheering for MJF, but only one's going to come out on top. But is MJF going to keep it all the way to January 2024, or will Adam Cole shock everyone and take it from him? Who you got, Jordan?
I'm going MJF.
Oh, you're on mute.
So now I get to say the final half of my theory that I had earlier, and it's not even my theory. This was all credit to Bakley. Cage My IQ, go check his stuff out. It's really good. But he made a great theory about this. So I got to run with this one as well because he made a fantastic point when it came to this. I think in the 0 hour, the Kingdom and Roderick Strong cost MJF and Adam Cole the tag titles. But I think they're only doing that so they can save Adam Cole from teaming with MJF going forward. But then the Kingdom and Roderick Strong show up in the main event and they help Adam Cole win the titles. And that's when I think the friendship ends right there. I think Adam Cole uses whatever advantage he gets from an attack or a distraction from Roderick Strong and the Kingdom, and after he wins the title, he joins up with the Kingdom and back with Roderick Strong. So I think we're going to get a big swerve at the end, and Adam Cole is going to turn on MJF, and he's going to join up with the Kingdom and Roderick Strong, and they're going to help him win the title. So Adam Cole wins. He is a new AEW World Champion, and we're all going to be able to recognize what a great reign MJF had. But I think the time is now for them to put the strap on Adam Cole and to do the big heel turn that no one saw, because everyone thinks it's MJF that's going to turn, but Adam Cole is going to turn, and he's going to end the friendship between him and MJF. But it makes me curious of how a babyface role is going to go with MJF. It's going pretty well right now with the tag team. Who knows? It may work out very well, but it's going to be weird with him not insulting everywhere he goes and actually be a solid babyface on his own, and not being with Adam Cole. So very, very interested to see how this main event pans out. It's not going to be a clean finish. Somebody's turning, but I think you go more Adam Cole turning than MJF. So that's why I think the Kingdom and Roderick Strong get involved, and we see a brand new AEW World Champion leave Wembley Stadium.
You made a valid good point there, and even Freddie agreed with you, but I'm going to stick with what I've been saying. I think the Kingdom could cost them the titles, and then they just have like a ran off, and then they just like hate each other, and then it just fuels them into the main event. Or Adam can just do that heel turn during the 0 hour and just walk out on MJF. Like, it could go either way. But before that bell rings, they're going to be ready to fight each other. They're going to be done with each other. The friendship will be over. It's gonna probably hurt us all, just like the Festival of Friendship with KO and Jericho back in the day. But it's gonna eventually come down to it. But I still believe that MJF is gonna still carry that title till his contract expires, that he's been saying for months. I mean, I do like to be proven wrong occasionally, but it's just gonna be so weird. Adam Cole gonna be the one doing the heel turn, not MJF. As much as I love MJF being an asshole and talking shit and even have the nerve to stay in character off the camera, it's brilliant. That's why he's on that list with Bray Wyatt and Eddie and guys like that. I mean, they tried to make him a babyface a couple of years back, and it just wasn't meant for him, but I still rode with it. I mean, he could be a good heel. We could see a side of him we didn't know about. I mean, he can play with the crowd. I mean, I saw a video on Twitter when Dynamite went off the air. They were outside of Atlanta, and the DJ at the show ended up playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and he was dancing in the ring, and the crowd was singing along with him. I like entertaining shit like that. MJF is a goddamn dancer. If he wasn't voted best dancer in his graduating class, go fuck yourself. That boy can dance. He dances way better than Adam Cole, and I love Adam Cole to death, but man, Adam, you cannot dance worth. I hope you don't dance like that at your wedding with Britt Baker. You danced like second grade me going around, holding myself and pumping my crutch out at freaking women 20 years older than me, and I was only 8.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's going to happen because CM Punk always gets his fucking way, and it's going to be in Chicago the next week. We're going to have the unification match, because if we don't get that, people are going to lose their positions in producing or planning a show. I mean, look at Christopher Daniels. He ain't even on Collision anymore because of fucking CM Punk. Punk's going to get his way. He's going to go cry to Tony Khan, and Tony's going to beg Daddy to make it happen, and we're going to get Punk in the main event at All Out against MJF to unify the titles, and that's the only thing we'll probably get is MJF's going to go over Punk, and that real world championship is out the fucking window, and he's going to go cry on social media and blame it on Kenny and the Bucks, and just bring up politics and shit on the internet like he always does that we don't want to fucking hear about. But MJF retains. But I mean, I would love to see a rematch at All Out. Another match with Cole and MJF. I would rather that than a unification match. I just wish Punk would just quit being a bitch and get rid of that fake belt, because he's not the real champion. I don't care if he wasn't pinned. You walked out and you got your shit taken away, and they gave it to somebody who actually wants to be there every week and don't give a shit what people think, because that's what MJF is. But we'll see. I'm excited to watch it. I'll be watching it live. I don't know yet if I want to do a Fallout 4. It depends what kind of mood I'm in. And I know the Saints will have a preseason game by the time we'll kick off, probably by the time this pay-per-view ends. I hope it's not a 7-8 hour show. I meant already.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But, well, that will do it for this prediction show. We finally got out of the way. It could happen in Full Gear. I mean, we'll see when the time comes. But this was good. Sorry for the wait. We had a jamboree, and even if we didn't have the jamboree with what happened with Bray Wyatt, we would have just put the show on hold because it was a dark day for us that day. But we got it done. I'd rather have done this than the other prediction show we had planned next week, because now I thought the card was kind of shit until they added some more shit last night on SmackDown. But again, Dylan will have a graphic made where we'll have our predictions for Payback and All Out available only on Twitter next week. So be sure to check that out and give us your thoughts and give us your predictions as well. But remember, back on track next Thursday, August 31st. Same start time, 7:30 p.m. Central. We are going to have a full tribute show for Bray Wyatt in memory of him. It's going to be a hard one to do, but I'm looking forward to it and sharing my love and thoughts on Bray and moments and whatnot. I'm even going to share a few pictures from the last time I saw him wrestle a match from the Rumble. Dylan's might have something or two. He's going to share a few things. It's going to be a good one to do. But you guys have any last real quick? Where can we find you on social media? And last call, do y'all have any other words to say?
You can find me on the X at Dylan Aber _. I don't care. You can find me on there, Dylan Aber _. Football's coming up. I'll be ready to talk some football, talk some wrestling, whatever you feel like talking about. Hit me up. I'm always down to talk about whatever. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, any social media possible. I'm there. So search me up, find me. Links in our description of this video for all our social media. So go check us out on there.
And you can find me on the X at Jordan _J2000.
Well, I'm on Twitter at Marcus Lee. Fuck Elon Musk. I say it every time. That whole X shit is stupid. The most unappreciated letter of the alphabet. The podcast is at World Elite Pod. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We don't care if you follow us on Threads because I'm over Threads now. I don't care.
It was an app that came out whenever they thought Twitter was going under, and since it didn't go under, it's such a pointless app now. Every time that people think that Twitter is either going out or is getting deleted or going away or they're gonna start making you pay for it, then some new app comes up for social media, and then you see people say, "Oh, I'm on this, I'm on that," and then when Twitter doesn't go away, then it's a useless app that nobody uses. So I downloaded Threads. I made an account for our podcast. Luckily, it's with Instagram, so you can merge in your followers and all that, and you go follow them on there. So we have quite a little bit of following on there, but we don't post on there because Twitter went absolutely nowhere. So
yeah,
it's whatever, honestly.
I have one too. I did mine through Instagram, but I just have it for whenever the time it actually blows up and gets very popular. We already have it and we could go from there. I did that with Twitter. Like, I made my Twitter account back in 2009, and I took maybe a year and a half absent from using it, and I started using it again every single day by 2011. So, but towards the end of 2011 is when I started using Twitter, definitely, and I've been using it every day since. Or not every day, because there have been days I have been in Twitter jail or whatever you want to call it, or banned where I couldn't post shit.
Oh, we know.
Especially when it's football season. I'm shocked you were never in that boat.
Bro, with football season ready to go, your Facebook account is going to get in Facebook jail so many times, and I cannot wait to see how many times. I'm going to have to keep counting how many times that your either Twitter profile goes restricted or your Facebook profile gets like going Facebook jail for a few days for something.
I got 2 drafts saved for you whenever football season starts. Like, because whenever you start throwing your tantrum, especially for Saints games, when you maybe not much for LSU, I don't see you really throw a lot of tantrums because LSU actually does make us happy and win a lot of games, unless if there was like a bad penalty. But I already have 2 drafts saved for you. One is you need some counseling, and another draft is you need Jesus.
Or counseling and Jesus at the same time.
I might change it up. Like, I want to add a GIF in there, but when I see something that makes me, when I see you come, I'm probably going to do it whenever I complain about something too. Like the damn preseason game with the damn Chargers where they called 3 touchdowns back, 2 from holding and 1. What was that other fucking penalty? Was it unsportsmanlike conduct or illegal motion or something? And I was furious, even though it was a preseason game.
Yeah, well, the guy who committed 2 of the holding penalties on the same touchdown was already cuffing the team. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what happens. But, yeah, but we have Threads on standby whenever it gets very popular. But, yeah, subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Our live streams, powered by StreamYard, you can watch anytime on demand on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts for audio. iHeart Radio, Spotify, Google Pod, Spreaker, all the above. Just give us a 5-star rating and review. I plan on having some more nostalgia and topic episodes coming into the new month. we'll get on track with that. But this one was a heavy way to start, but we finished it in a fun way. We got it over with, and I'm looking forward to watching All In tomorrow around noontime, and maybe I'm gonna say maybe do a Fallout, or I'm gonna be tweeting about it the whole time too. So this was good, but I don't know about you guys, but I have been watching Notre Dame decimate Navy, and I'm ready to watch more college football in this week's Zero. So I'm gonna let you guys get going. For our listeners tuning in, thank you again. Sorry for the wait, but we're going to be back on regular schedule next week. Probably be another week coming in September. We're going to do a live stream, move it to a Friday or maybe a Saturday again towards the end of September. But we'll update you all. But for the time being, at least for the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to be back on schedule with Thursday shows. So, guys, always, it's a pleasure. Let's see if we can get to 500 views again in 24 hours. I think what's our next goal? I said 1,000. What's your goal? What's your next goal?
Well, we haven't even reached 500 on last week's. We're at like 486. So I'm gonna take it little by little. I'm not even gonna put that expectation of near 500 because if I put that, I'm gonna be disappointed if it doesn't reach it. So I'm gonna stay at the 100 mark and it's work my way up when we make it there.
Alrighty, you got it. Well, again, thank you to everyone tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Y'all have a good one, and enjoy All In London.